Subscribe, cop that merch. Y'all ready? Let's go. Flexing hard, moving fast in my supercar. You can't trade with me, kid. I got all the parts. Dominus, ultra fire, shining like the stars. I passed Roadblocks, #1 on the chart. Join the link mob, ooh, join the link mob. Yeah. Join the link mob, yo. Join the link mob, join the link mob, ooh, join the link mob. Yeah. Join the link mob, yeah.
Ever wonder what it would be like to not be poor? Well, Linkmon99 doesn't. In this episode, we talked to one of the richest users on the Roblox platform about how he went from nothing to something. This is the Roadblocks Creator Series.
Well, good to meet you, I guess. I've heard a lot about you over the years. It's been cool to see how you've taken yourself off of Roblox into YouTube and grow there. So as if you're talking to someone who's never heard of you, who's never heard of Linkmon or Linkmob, who are you and what have you done as a creator?
Hey everyone, my name's Tommy, aka Linkmon99 on Roblox and YouTube. The reason that I got into YouTube was because I became like the richest player on Roblox, and by that it means I have the most limited items or the most value in my limited items besides any of the admin accounts. Basically what happened was a lot of YouTubers that were getting popular at the time, they wanted to interview me, and I didn't really even realize there's a big Roblox YouTube community because back in the day there wasn't, but it was blowing up all of a sudden starting in like I would say maybe early 2017 is when it really kicked off. So the end of that year is when I did those interviews, and they shouted out my channel, which I just didn't even upload to. They did because they're like, oh yeah, you can check them out here. And I got like 10,000 subscribers from a couple videos like that, and without even having made anything new. So I was like, oh wow, maybe people are actually interested. So I started making videos and they were doing really well. It was like teaching people how to trade or just like random skits related to being the richest player. And then I did more collabs with other YouTubers who wanted to get on board. And then before I knew it, I hit like 100,000.
So you've gained this following, you have merch, literally a fan base called the Link Mob. How has your real life changed since becoming, I guess, literally in a way you've grown to be famous?
That's a good question. I don't think it's changed it all that much because, well, I'm not like crazy famous, but I have like met people in real life that knew who I was and I didn't know who they were. So they knew me solely through my channel. The first time that happened, it was like really surreal, I guess. I was like, whoa, that's freaky. But because like before that, you know, the people watching you are just like comments on YouTube or like a number, and it's not really real until some kid's like, hey, I know your videos or I watch them every day. I'm like, whoa. When that happened for the first time, I was really shocked. And then it happened a few more times. I remember my favorite story was like I was in line for like some roller coaster at like a Six Flags. We had already been in line for like half an hour, and the kid in front of me just randomly spins around. It's like, yo, I love your videos. I love that one where you like were like a noob or something. And I was just like, oh, okay. I'm like, why did he just randomly say that? Because he had been staring at me for like half an hour before he said it. But there's been like so many situations like that. Another one was like I was at the gym. This kid just jumped on the treadmill next to me and was like, yo, I love your videos. And it was just kind of awkward because I was like, do I have to run next to this kid the whole time now? They walked away actually. Yeah, it's been cool.
How did you even get into trading in the first place? What did your beginning days of trading look like? And then how did you build it up to the point where you're literally making millions of Robux in value?
Well, basically, I started with items before the trade system even came out. That was because, like, in 2011, the advantage was if you didn't let your membership expire, you were making, like, there's, like, a multiplier. And I remember I was getting, like, 180 Robux a day. And this is when items were way cheaper, too. So the classic fedora, which is, like, 60,000 now, it was, like, 3,000. So I could buy that in, like, 2 weeks. just from like free money coming into my account. So I actually bought a lot of items just from like the economy kind of being like inflated, and people would like sometimes sell stuff for cheap. And the way people would trade back then was most of the time it was a scam, because someone's like, all right, you're gonna sell yours for 1 Robux, I'll buy it, and then I'll sell mine for 1 Robux. I actually bought I went to a page once and there was just an item for 1 Robux and I bought it. So I kind of feel bad, but I did do that because that meant someone was like trading, most likely. Yeah, those always ended up as scams, and people really wanted a trade system, and that came about in like 2012, like in the summer. So about 8 years ago. And at that point, I already had like Sparkle Time, Purple Sparkle Time, and like a couple like rare swords and stuff. And that's because of the reasons I told you, but also earlier that year, one of my games like kind of popped off. But like this is when like a game could hit the front page with 500 players, and that was like my beachside free model resort, this crappy game that like a 12-year-old built with like no skill basically. And that's what that was. And I sold like a VIP in it that made like 100,000 Robux back when like things were way cheaper, so that was more like $1 million now. Or when the trade system came out, people didn't really even know how to value stuff for some reason, even though there's clearly like differences in prices. At first, people were just trading like, oh, I think that looks cool. And I remember I traded like my Ghostwalker sword away for like Rainbow Shaggy and then like several other big items. If you look at it now, Rainbow Shaggy's like 4 million Robux and like the Ghostwalker's like 200,000. That was like the first trade I did, and it probably like doubled my value, and that was like day one. And I don't know, I just did pretty well with it throughout the next year or two. I mostly never lost a trade. I don't know how, but I just made smart calls kind of. And actually, it wasn't even like me guessing, oh, this is gonna do well. Most of the time, people were just trading pretty poorly, or they were like, oh, I really want that, so I'm gonna overpay for it. And I just kept trying to get items that people like. I don't know, it worked out pretty well.
All right, so this is kind of leading into chapter 2. If you could describe your story up until this point in just one or two words, what would they be and why?
Interesting would be one, and the second one would maybe be stressful. I don't know if those are the best words, but interesting in the sense that I would have never thought this would happen. I mean, I was just playing this game for fun, but now I'm like seriously considering it, just continuing it as like a job that's like has the potential for me to earn more than any job I could take on, which is just insane. Just like going from like getting my first Roblox Limited to being the richest player and getting my first subscriber to almost 500,000 and then starting all these businesses and stuff. It's just insane. So that's why I would say interesting. And then stressful is just like, there's been plenty of stressful moments when I started trading. Even though it was fun, sometimes I would stay up like hours into the night trying to complete a trade with some guy just from the bail at the end. I got so pissed. And I really wanted to do it because like it was like, oh, well, if I do this, the win is worth like $1,000 of Robux, so I should do it. And then when I've been hacked like 2 or 3 times, like that was like a horrible event where I was like, oh my God, I lost all this stuff I spent years on that is worth real money. And like, so that was really stressful. And then sometimes when I'm doing YouTube videos, you know, if they don't do well and I spend a lot of time on them, it's a disappointment. And trying to balance the YouTube channel with school could get stressful. That doesn't mean like I shouldn't do this stuff. It's just that it just makes it a greater challenge that some people don't realize. They're like, oh wow, being a YouTuber or whatever is so easy. But no, if you want to be a good one, then it's hard. You have to be really creative and spend a lot of time from the planning to the filming to the editing and getting it out there.
Well, let's talk about some of those challenges. You didn't get to the point where you are now without some roadblocks and challenges. Can you tell me about some specific times in your life where you encountered a roadblock?
Okay, well, I would say the first one would be like on Roblox, like when I got hacked and stuff. Well, that's just a challenge in the sense that like, not only in the moment was it like I have to get all my stuff back somehow, I hope Roblox will restore it, but more in general, now I always have to be like afraid about security because there's always people trying to phish me with like sending emails to me or on Discord or just trying to guess my password. Just like I always feel like my security's under threat and there's not the best protection against that. And I don't know, that's not a great way to have to like go about being online, but concern, and like my address has been leaked, and it's like uncomfortable in that sense. Like it shouldn't be that a given that doing this means you have to give up like your privacy, or you have to be afraid that you're always going to get like hacked or something. But that's a challenge I faced then and now, basically.
Yeah. Could you tell me about a point in your career as a creator on Roblox, on YouTube in general, that you just wanted to say, this isn't worth it, and just give up?
If you know, like I said, I haven't uploaded that much recently, and I'm just trying to get back into it. It was mostly due to school and stuff. I don't really know for sure, but I just, like I said, I got pretty stressed out. I think going into last summer, like my videos have never done bad. I had like a point where they were doing a little worse. I guess I was always frustrated because I was like, oh wow, I spend so much time on these, but like people that just shoot out clickbait and without edits every day because they want to just pump out content, it does way better. They get 10 times more views. Maybe I should just do that. That was like a roadblock in like my mind. Like I was like, what do I do? Should I keep like coming up with like very creative ideas, spend hours editing it, get the best thumbnail, and make one video a week? Or should I just shoot out something every day that's like me playing like a game and like new update or whatever? But you know, I just didn't want to do that because it just felt like not genuine. And like, so that's kind of a challenge, content and how to handle it. One thing I always say is like, I'm glad everything went the way it went, like in the sense that, you know, it could be better right now, right? But I'd say in most cases, I got pretty lucky. I mean, who would have thought that when they joined Roblox, they would become like the richest player and have like a YouTube platform off it and even be making money at all off it? Like, not me, that's for sure. So I wouldn't say to do something differently because I'm afraid it would have actually just changed the course of history. So I'm pretty happy with how things went. But if there's ever a time where like I was like, oh, I should quit or just give up, definitely not, because I would have never gone here, which is also why I keep going now, because I'm like, you know, I don't know what the future's gonna be, but if I work hard and smart, then it's probably gonna be good and not bad. You know, you can only do what you can do, but if you make the right effort, then it should go in the correct direction.
So what are some resources that you would recommend for someone looking to, one, get into YouTube and grow their YouTube, and two, get into trading on Roblox?
Honestly, trading, you should watch my stuff. I have like a playlist on like how to trade or whatever, and in my opinion, there's not many better videos than that, if any. So I recommend that if you're getting into trading, and also just to be patient, because at the beginning it's going to be a lot harder regardless when you only have a couple things and people are calling you a noob and whatever. You just got to be patient with anything. Same thing with YouTube. Well, I don't have like how to be a YouTuber guides, but there's plenty of them. And a lot of what I did was I just studied the other Roblox YouTubers, like what are they doing? I would copy elements of it, but then I was making my own. No one else does the videos quite like I do. So, I mean, I'm definitely like unique in that sense, but also that's what you guys have to be, like find something that no one else is doing, or at least not exactly what someone else is doing, and do it a bit differently. And that's how you stand out.